Shigeru Miyamoto, the legendary video game designer, was born in Sonobe, Kyoto, Japan, on November 16, 1952. He was the second of 5 children in his family. Growing up, Miyamoto was a curious and creative child, always exploring the natural world around him and imagining fantastical stories and characters. Miyamoto's family lived in a rural area where his parents owned a small business that manufactured and sold traditional Japanese products. As a child, Miyamoto helped out with the family business, but he also had a lot of free time to pursue his own interests. One of Miyamoto's earliest memories is of exploring the nearby countryside with his friends, where they would climb trees, catch bugs, and play games. Miyamoto was particularly fond of the nature around him, and he would often spend hours observing plants and animals and sketching them in his notebook. Another major influence on Miyamoto's childhood was his exposure to entertainment media. His family owned a television, and Miyamoto was a big fan of American cartoons and Japanese anime. He was particularly interested in the character designs and animation techniques used in these shows. Miyamoto's parents encouraged his creativity and curiosity, and they often bought him art supplies and other materials to support his hobbies. His father also introduced him to traditional Japanese folktales, which would later inspire some of Miyamoto's most famous game designs. After completing high school, Shigeru Miyamoto enrolled in the Kanazawa College to study industrial design. Miyamoto was initially drawn to the program because of his interest in creating toys and other physical products. However, it was during his time at the university that Miyamoto was introduced to the world of video games. In the early 1970s, video games were becoming increasingly popular in Japan, and Miyamoto was intrigued by their potential for creativity and innovation. He was particularly interested in a game called Space Invaders, which had just been released in arcades across the country. Miyamoto spent countless hours playing the game and studying its design and mechanics. After graduating from university in 1977, Miyamoto began looking for a job in the design industry. He applied to a number of toy and game companies, but he was repeatedly turned down due to his lack of experience. However, one company took a chance on him, and that company was Nintendo. It was the late 1970s, and Shigeru Miyamoto had just started working at Nintendo. As a new employee, he was eager to prove himself and make a name for himself in the competitive world of video games. One day, Miyamoto was asked to help out with a project that was being developed by Tekashi Tezuka, a talented game designer who had already established himself as a force to be reckoned with at Nintendo. The project was a simple game called Devil World, and Miyamoto was tasked with creating the artwork for this game. As he worked on the project, Miyamoto began to realize that he had a natural talent for game design. He was fascinated by the creative process and the challenges in bringing a game to life. As he worked with Tezuka, he began to develop a deep respect and admiration for him. Their partnership blossomed over the course of the project. After Devil World was completed, Miyamoto and Tezuka continued to work together on various projects, each one more ambitious than the last. They pushed each other to new heights of creativity and innovation, and their partnership helped to establish Nintendo as a major player in the video game industry. It was this partnership that would ultimately lead to the creation of some of Nintendo's most iconic games, including Donkey Kong and the one and only Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. It's one of the most iconic video games of all time, and it all began with the creative vision of Shigeru Miyamoto and his partner Tekashi Tezuka. The idea for Super Mario Bros. Began to take shape after the success of Donkey Kong. Miyamoto and Tezuka wanted to create a game that was even more ambitious and engaging than their previous hit, and they began to brainstorm ideas for a new game that would capture the imagination of players around the world. The result was Super Mario Bros., a game that would go on to become one of the most successful video games of all time. The game was released in 1985 and quickly became a sensation thanks to its engaging gameplay, charming characters, and memorable soundtrack. Super Mario Bros. Was the first game in the series, but it was soon followed by numerous sequels and spin-offs. These included games like Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, and Super Mario World, which expanded the original game's gameplay mechanics and added new elements to the story. The story of Super Mario Bros. Franchise is a complex and layered one, with numerous characters, locations, and plot twists. At its core, however, the story revolves around two brothers, Mario and Luigi, who must travel through a variety of worlds to rescue Princess Toadstool from the clutches of the evil Bowser. There are many facts about the Super Mario Bros. Franchise that even longtime fans might not know. For example, did you know that the game's iconic soundtrack was composed by Koji Kondo, who used a limited number of channels on the Nintendo Entertainment System to create the tunes? Or that the character Mario was originally named Jumpman, but was changed to avoid any legal issues with the Popeye comic strip. Another little known fact is that the character Princess Toadstool was named after a real person, the wife of Nintendo of America's first president. And finally, did you know that Mario's distinctive mustache was originally added to his character to make it easier to distinguish his nose from his mouth? All of these details and more have helped to make Super Mario Bros. One of the most beloved video game franchises of all time. From its humble beginnings as a simple idea in the minds of Miyamoto and Tezuka to its status as a true cultural phenomenon, the story of Super Mario Bros. Is the one that continues to captivate and inspire players around the world. It wasn't long before the creators decided to bring the game's characters and the story to the big screen. The creators of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Rocky Morton and Annabelle Youngle, wanted to create a film that would appeal not to only gamers, but also to a wider audience. They were given a budget of $42 million to bring the Mushroom Kingdom to life. However, the task of adapting a video game into a movie proved to be quite challenging. The movie's storyline follows Mario and Luigi, two Brooklyn plumbers who find themselves transported to an alternate dimension, where they must save Princess Daisy from the evil King Koopa. The movie takes many liberties with the source material and diverges significantly from the game's story, which focuses primarily on Mario rescuing Princess Toadstool. Despite its well-known cast and high budget, the Super Mario Bros. Movie was a critical and commercial failure. The movie was panned by critics, who criticized its convoluted plot, inconsistent tone, and departure from the game's established canon. The movie's box office performance was also disappointing, grossing only $20 million domestically and $38 million worldwide. In conclusion, the creation of the Super Mario Bros. Game led to the creation of its movie adaptation. The creators of the movie had the goal of appealing to a wider audience while staying true to the game's characters and universe. However, the movie was a commercial and critical failure due to its deviation. The upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie, produced by Illumination and Universal Pictures, in collaboration with Nintendo, promises to take the iconic video game characters to the next level. In the world of cinema, the film is said to have a more complex plot than the video game, which is known for its simplistic premise. The film's cast includes a mix of comedians and acclaimed actors. Chris Pratt, best known for his roles in the Guardians of Galaxy, voices Mario. Charlie Day of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia plays Luigi. Anya Taylor-Joy, star of The Queen's Gambit and The Northman, voices Princess Peach. The most iconic villain of the game, Bowser, is portrayed by Jack Black. who is known for his roles in movies like School of Rock.